Welcome to TrailManners, the podcast so dedicated to mountain trails and running that they broadcast out of a 78 Volkswagen bus in the mountains. Who does that? Eric and Joel are your hosts and will bring you the trail life as you may have not heard it before. You hear about everything from gear reviews, nutrition to keep you upright and moving forward, and they'll even bring guests into the bus for conversations that you won't hear anywhere else. It's time for some running adventures on a higher elevation. The old 78 Volkswagen bus is fired up and headed to the mountains. Here are your hosts for TrailManners, proudly representing the 801 with their passion and love for the trails, Eric Manning and Joel Hatch.
Welcome to the TrailManners podcast, episode number 99. Today, we're going to be talking with Kelsy Bingham. So if it's your first time listening, then thanks for coming. The TrailManners podcast is produced every week for your enjoyment, and show notes are found at trailmanners.com. Come back often, and please feel free to add the podcast to your favorite RSS feed or iTunes. You can also follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at TrailManners. All links are in the show notes. Now let's get after it. All right, welcome back to the TrailManners podcast. We are at episode number 99.
Yeah.
99. It's like the Luftballon song, right? That's how you say it in German.
Is it?
Yeah, I'm sure we'll get some clarification on that at some point. But yeah, episode 99. We're on location, but I'm not going to tell you where because it's like there's a top secret beer fridge here. And so we don't want.
That's right, there is.
It's like one of the best beer fridges in the state of Utah.
It probably is the best beer fridge in the state of Utah.
So I don't want to give away our location.
Yeah.
Because that would be bad.
That would be bad.
Even though there's like security, German Shepherds, Doberman Pinschers, Cobras. I mean, it's protected.
It is.
But today we have joining us Kelsy Bingham. Kelsy, thanks for joining us again.
Yeah, I'm really glad to be back.
So 74 shows ago you came on.
That's
episode
crazy.
25. Does it seem like that long ago?
Yeah, it does for me.
Okay.
But I can't believe you guys have had 99 shows. That's so cool.
You didn't think we'd last? Is that what you're saying?
No, not at
You're
all.
saying we need to retire?
You're saying, man, these guys made it this long?
Not at all.
I keep saying that all the time.
No, but we're glad you're back because your first show, episode 25, which we'll have a link if you haven't heard that one, but that was one of our most downloaded shows and most commented on shows we've had.
Yeah.
Like it reached a lot of people and we got a lot of feedback on it. It was just an amazing show. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, sometimes people have a hard time telling their personal stories.
Right.
Some people like to tell them too much. Mm-hmm. But, you know, it was just, it was great for you to share that. And, I mean, I know that it reached a lot of people, so it was awesome.
Yeah, thanks.
But now we are back to talk about some new things. So just a quick background. Big cyclist, right?
Was. That's
so
a big was.
So for the people that haven't heard the show or maybe know, let's do a quick rundown just of your background, your cycling background. What does that entail? I mean, you were legit.
Yeah, I guess it started right after college basketball and started with mountain biking. My brother-in-law, Chris, got me into it, and that lasted a few years. Then I kind of transferred into cyclocross, which I guess was truly my love for cycling. I like the fast-paced. I like the heckling. I don't know. It's a good sport if you haven't ever watched it. It's really the only spectator sport when it comes to cycling. Cycling is really boring to watch unless you're watching it on TV.
Right.
But cyclocross, that's where it's at.
That's where it's at. So and right, you said before that you played basketball at the University of Utah.
Yes.
Go Utes.
That's
Go
right.
Utes.
Go Utes.
That's right.
You can suck it.
Yeah.
Oh, the Y. I'm
I'm gonna
sorry.
say
The Y.
what?
The Y can suck it. Sorry.
Come on.
Sorry.
You're a Ute too. So
I am.
Get it
Sorry.
straight.
He
I
got his
know.
letters mixed up.
I did. The end of the alphabet. I get tired by the time I get to that point of the end of the alphabet.
He's used to doing it backwards.
Yeah,
Oh,
exactly.
Geez. Oh, great.
He's used to doing that backwards. So, and then also you're a mother.
I am. My best job.
It's your best job.
Yeah.
So you're really a mother too, right? You've got your little one.
I do.
And then you got the big one.
Yeah.
I do.
And the fur babies.
Oh, yeah, and my fur babies. So, which are just as much my children, let's be honest. Especially my black lab. He's my...
Jet, my best friend on the trail.
He is.
That's right.
He's
I'm going to
my-
bite your nuts off, Jet.
Yes. He acts really mean until he's not. He's the most skittish trail dog ever.
Yeah. But yeah, you also work.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
what do you do for work?
I'm a cardiology PA.
There you go. So the heart.
That's
cardio, heart.
Very good.
Like that?
That was some good anatomy.
Some terminology.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been pretty spot on there. So let's talk about 2018. You've had a pretty big year, and I didn't really realize it. I mean, I did because we've been following you all year, and of course, we're fanboys. So we've been talking about you every time you do something.
I know,
anything.
thanks for the
Anything.
shout-outs.
We're like, oh my gosh, she walked her dog, and we talk about it. We love it. So, but you've had a big year. You started off Antelope Island 50 miler, second place female.
Yeah.
8:55, which is solid.
That's fast.
That's a good time. You also ran the Scout Mountain 60K, which is a tough course.
That's an amazing course.
You were first place female, 10th overall, 7:41, and that's tough.
That's
a freaking
stout.
That's a butt kicker. And then you decided you wanted to head up to El Vaquero Loco, do the 50K.
Yeah.
We hung out with you there at the start finish.
Yep.
At the campground, which
Yeah,
was
that
always
a fun.
fun.
Got a little rowdy, didn't we?
Yeah,
a little
that
bit.
was fun.
Yeah, you guys were in trouble. You guys were rowdy. First female, 12th overall in 6:39. But probably the coolest accomplishment you had with all these races is back in May, you ran the Gib Wallace race.
Yeah.
Which is getting pretty global, we know. It's put on by the group at TrailManners.
I got an email the other day about that. Somebody saying, when is the 2018 version going to be held? And this guy was from Texas.
What?
Really?
Yeah.
That's
Holy
cool.
cow.
I know. Weird.
I've gotten like sponsor emails.
Right.
So we gotta jump on this at some point, right?
Okay. All right. Let's finish this interview first.
But you won first place female there, 58:15, and that was probably out of all the races so far this year. I mean, that's probably one that you hold the highest. I'm
Well,
sure.
she got
Absolutely.
rewarded the most for that one.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, right.
So you got $100
Sunto
bill,
watch.
Sunto watch,
Right. So you
belt buckle,
amazeballs.
suffer better, belt
came
buckle.
out like $500 ahead.
Right? Yeah. No, and let's be honest, it's my home trails that I run every single day. So
Right.
how fun is it to actually race those?
And crush all those boys.
Yeah.
There were a few boys I must say I really wanted to beat.
Ben Wallace.
Ben Wallace.
Yeah. Well, that's the second time in a row he's been called out on the show.
I know, right?
I know, you guys did call him out the
No,
other day.
no. Not you guys, Joel.
Yeah, I
That's
did.
true. It
Yeah.
was all you.
Yeah, it was. Fair enough. But he needs to run faster.
It's just because we love
On
Ben.
his behalf,
Defense.
heat defense. Yeah, he took a wrong turn at the end of the bear, so that cost him a little time.
the end of the bear.
He took a right and went and got a shake instead of left to the finish line. Is
Good
that
point.
what the turn was?
Yes, I
you
can
hit the
see that.
road and you go left towards the finish line. If you go right, you can go down and get a raspberry shake, right?
So it was an
Yeah.
intentional wrong
or he went
turn.
and got
Yeah.
a PSL, pumpkin spice latte.
Oh, jeez.
I'm throwing out the lingo.
No.
That's hot right
no,
now.
No. People are like psyched for the pumpkin spice latte. They're like, oh, it's that season again. I'm excited for my heated seats.
Yeah.
From your car?
Yes.
Oh.
That's the best.
Yeah.
Screw the pumpkin spice latte.
Yeah, I'm not
heated
a-
seats are much better.
I'm not a PSL guy. Or I don't have heated seats either. So I just got to
You can get one of those little steery cans and put it under there.
That's the way to do it. Yeah, or to get one of those rice bags, heat it up
Oh,
and chuck
yeah.
it on. That's
Totally.
Oh, there you go.
That throws off my sciatic, though, because I sit crooked, right?
It's like putting a big ass wallet in your back pocket, right?
Yeah, for sure. Not that I have anything to put in my wallet, but yeah, I mean, you had a good year, though. I mean, a lot of good races, a lot of good results. Does it come? So you're known to be pretty driven, right? I mean,
Yeah.
you're pretty competitive.
A little
We know
bit.
that.
Just a little.
Just a little bit. So does that comes from basketball, cycling, and kind of propelled you in the trail running? Is that right?
Yeah, that actually comes from my father, who is also very, very competitive
Okay.
and has ingrained that in me from the second I was born.
So competitive. What's he competitive in? Did he have
So
something?
he was also an athlete. He played college basketball a little bit, and he coached me growing up in basketball. And he's just always been kind of that driving force for my competitiveness, I guess.
Cool.
So
How does Brandon handle your competitiveness?
I think it bothers him a little bit sometimes, unless it's in a race setting. Then he can kind of feed off of it. I think.
Right.
I mean, at the Bear, he was pretty intense whenever I came into the aid stations, and I mean, he's stood at many feed zones at a cycling events or here with running. That he wants me to win too, because he knows how much it means to me to win.
That's
Right.
awesome.
But
He's pretty.
he likes the running side better, though, doesn't he?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I was super high maintenance when I was a cyclist, and that's gone by the wayside, let's be honest. And the trail running crew is just, they're his people.
Yeah.
So the fact that he can sit at an aid station and drink a beer with somebody and just kind of
hang out.
Shoot the breeze. He's all about that.
Well, he would tell me stories like for your cycling, he'd be like working on bikes at the hotel.
Yeah, and you know, a lot of people would show up without any crew at some of those cycling events, and they found out that he was going to be there a lot. So they'd say, you're going to be doing hand-ups for your wife? Great. Can you do mine? Oh, and then my other 3 friends, they need them. So, you know, he's stressed out the entire race looking for these racers that he's met for like 2 seconds, you know, and he's trying to remember who he's supposed to hand up which water bottle. And it became stressful. And
now he can just kind of enjoy it a little bit, have a beer, put his puffy on.
Yeah.
Put his puffy on.
Well, it's puffy season more than PSL.
Yeah, that's right. PSL.
Yeah, I mean, it does help having a supportive spouse. Brandon's awesome. I mean, we love him. He's our go-to for the beverage side of things.
Yep.
Yeah.
Anytime we want a new flavor.
Yep.
So you guys have embraced it. You've even expanding your crew vehicle, from what I understand.
Yeah.
So what are we doing here? Because this is where me and Joel kind of can't wait to do some more shows with you.
Yeah.
I know.
Totally. We're totally doing some shows in the new car. So we're big campers and we're just outdoor people, right? I mean, it's not just the trail. He rides his bike a lot, and we're skiers, and our daughter's finally out of the potty training and nap phase, so we sold our trailer and we're gonna sell his big truck and onto the Sprinter van, baby.
Ooh, Sprinter van.
That's right.
I've wanted one for like 10 years, and we've just never been in the right spot in our life for it, and here we are. So
is it ordered?
It's ordered. It's on its way. It's on a train somewhere. We're working on the build out, and it can't come fast enough.
Did you guys get the 4-wheel drive?
Oh yeah.
So you guys are just gonna be everywhere.
Oh yeah. This is like a year-round, take it everywhere, road tripper, skiing, everything.
Nice, because I mean, me and Joel have had extensive conversation. How Brandon's going to be like our crew chief now, pretty much going forward for everything, right?
Well, yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, it's
but
like
we're not so high maintenance.
We're not.
And I talked to him about this the other
Okay.
day. I said, if you ever had to crew for us, it's just total chill.
Yeah.
He's like, thank God.
It's just like, hey, can you pop that beer real quick?
Yeah.
Why tie my shoe?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're easy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's a good crew guy. Let's be honest.
That's awesome. So now you're going to be all set.
Yeah, you are.
Totally. I'm so excited.
Everything.
More than you
skiing.
were before.
Yeah, exactly right. Because you had a pretty good setup before.
Yeah,
but
you
the
did.
Sprinter-
but the trailer and the truck's kind of it's a big deal, right? Because you got to have a spot that's big enough, and
If the
it's
spot's
a
not
pain
right.
towing it around.
Yeah.
And like at Vaquero, we pulled into the parking lot.
And don't give that spot away.
No, I won't. But
Yeah.
we pulled up there, and it's a tight little area,
It
and
is.
we rubbed our trailer tire on a rock, and we got a flat. And we're just like, damn it.
Right.
Well,
we get home, we're buying a Sprinter.
Yeah.
That's
well,
usually what
the
I
last
say.
straw. Yeah.
Maybe it was the last straw.
Right.
Because it was only a few weeks later that we decided that the trailer was great, but we're over it.
Right.
So
What color is it going to be?
it's called stone, so it's kind of a grayish color.
Okay, that's good. And you're going to wrap it? Like with
TrailManners.
I didn't. Hey, that was all.
That was
all
a nice
you.
offer on her
Yeah,
part.
I thought you were just you guys would have like
now
a
remember,
family
Brandon
logo.
used to have the wrap truck,
He did. Oh my
the
god.
Rooster's truck.
Yeah, when he ran the Rooster cycling team.
That looked pretty good.
Yeah, no.
I didn't know if you had
No
like a
wraps.
family crest you would just chuck on the side.
That'd be cool.
We'll have a big old TrailManners sticker on it. Don't worry.
But
But
we need to get like a partial wrap.
A partial wrap. We'll get the back doors.
Okay, we can work this out.
Yeah.
Kelsy could be our first and only TrailManners ambassador.
Be our sponsored athlete.
Yeah.
Where we just don't give you anything. But
Well, I'm sure we can work something out.
yeah, I've
you
got
guys
a
have enough
hat.
connections.
I've got a hat,
Hoodies, stickers,
buff.
maybe a race entry.
Yeah. You'll be our first sponsored. Yeah,
I'll
we'll
have
get
my
that
people
contract.
call your people.
Yeah, we got
appreciate
my
that.
guys already working on the contract.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Let's jump right into it. Just last weekend, just a few days ago, was the Bear 100. Well, a week ago, right?
Yeah,
it just
exactly.
Started. You're like running right
It'd
now.
be like-
You're 4.5
Yeah,
hours
4 hours
in.
deep. Yeah.
So
You'd
you're
be
like
almost
mile 50.
almost at Lethem right now.
Whatever.
So the Bear 100, we'll throw it out there and then we'll kind of go backtrack a little bit. Third female, 37th overall in 25:54. First 100-miler, correct?
And how
Yeah.
close was second and fourth to her?
I didn't write it down, but
You
it was
didn't?
super close. Like
Within
4 minutes.
The last
4 minutes
the
in
last
front of you?
mile and a half. I don't know who took fourth. I can't remember her name, but she and I were battling the last mile and a half.
Like,
Debbie and Steve
you can turn
were
around and
like
see her, right?
yelling at me, telling me how horribly slow I was running. Yeah, oh yeah, I could see her. I
Yeah.
turned around like right before you hit the pavement.
Mm-hmm.
I turned around and saw her, and said some really bad words, and Debbie just grabbed me and said, "You better run your ass fast right now." She said, "You've already been passed once, and you're not going to get passed again."
Yeah.
You've been already passed once in a 100-mile race.
Well, the second place person was only 4 minutes in front of you.
Yeah,
right?
well, she passed me with like 3 miles to go. That's why. And
which
when
is
she
really cool
passed,
that you kept that gap that close.
I couldn't go any faster. There was just, I was hating it by that time. When she passed me, her and her pacer, they were really cool. They're like, "Come on, jump on," and I just said,
"You didn't jump on their back."
Later.
Oh, you jump
later.
on.
That was like a dagger to the heart right there when she passed me with just a few miles to go. And then when I saw the girl behind me, I was like, "Not again. This is not happening."
Nice.
So
that competitiveness kicked in a little bit more.
Big time.
Nice.
Big time.
So let's backtrack then, because we already just jumped to like mile 99, right? And so I want to hear about the before that, right?
Yeah.
So leading up to it's your first 100-mile race.
Yeah.
And from my understanding, okay, and I'll get secondhand stuff like you wouldn't believe around here, because this is such a huge town with trail runners. But you're pretty. You planned pretty well for this, right? I mean, you were
I'm pretty type
in.
A, if you didn't know.
Yeah.
Do you still have that map that you taped together?
I actually threw that away.
you?
Yeah. I got a lot of.
We heard that map was as big as your kitchen
It
floor.
was, and I got a lot of shit for it.
Yeah,
from
rightfully so.
My people. I was a little hurt by it, but whatever.
It works, right? Whatever
does.
works for
No,
you.
I'm super type A. I had a ton of planning. I kept notes on my computer and had lists galore, like what I was packing, what I should be doing, I'm a planner.
So you were getting ready for this race like well in advance, because you had people, your crew over, your pacers over. You kind of went down your game plan.
Mm-hmm.
So you were like, "Hey, if you're gonna do this, you're committed. This isn't you're just pacing
well, it's committed
me."
to her style.
Yeah,
right.
It's like you give blood here, so we test that first, right?
There was an interview process,
medical check,
exactly.
Swiping
Background.
left, swiping right. No. You even like kicked the pacer off. I mean, you had.
Oh, that's right. You did.
I knew you guys were going to bring this up. You guys
forgot
suck.
about that.
Jim, poor Jim.
So we're talking
feel
about
bad.
Jim Skaggs, a good friend of the show, Buffalo Run Race Director. He didn't make the cut.
He did not make the
you guys
pacer
think
cut.
You guys are awful
You guys
people.
think we're serious here, but man, she had tryouts like Spartan
did.
style, and
Yeah.
Jim couldn't get over the fence.
What?
Oh, that's right. He couldn't.
You guys are
Couldn't get that old busted wheel over the fence.
So you pushed him so hard, he's on his way to surgery next week.
Yep.
Oh, I know. Good luck with that, Jim.
But yeah, you take it serious. It was your first 100. You wanted to make sure on the way you do things are dialed in, so there was no surprises that are out of the ordinary.
I just feel like, control the things you can control. And one thing that I learned from a very important person in my life, Elaine Elliott, and she was my college basketball coach, is preparation. We spent a lot of time preparing in college for teams and scouting, and I just feel like that should never be your excuse that you weren't prepared.
Yeah.
So I take that to heart in a lot of aspects of my life, and especially running. I don't want my race to be fouled up by something that I could have prepared for.
Well, because we see on the trails all the time, and you put so much time and effort working, being a mother. I mean, you put all that time in to have it go to, I won't say waste, but kind of handicap it by not being ready on something silly would be harder to take, right?
Absolutely.
So leading up to the race, what was your going into it? I mean, what kind of is your 10,000-foot plan for this race? Did you have some things that you wanted to be at certain points by certain times? Did you? I mean, how did that work?
Well, this is my first full year of racing, actually, and so every race that I did, I tried to take something from it and apply that to the bear. And I had made some big mistakes with nutrition and cramping and stuff in some of my previous races, and I wanted to make sure that wasn't going to be an issue. So I focused a ton on hydration and nutrition, even though it wasn't hot like a lot of the races I had already run this year. I wanted that to be a non-factor. So I focused on that. I tend to go out really fast, and I knew that if I did that, I was going to be done. So my goal was, especially for that first climb, to just find a pack that was basically just walking up that big climb and sit in with them. And I actually found Jeremy Actor pretty early on in the race, and I just sat on his heels and followed him up as I watched people pass me, and I had to just kind of push that out of my mind, like, oh, there they go. I should follow them. No, sit here, just sit here. And it paid dividends because my thought process was get through the first 50 miles really conservatively so that I had something left in the tank and race the last 50.
Because through the first 50, I mean, we were tracking online, but you were up there the whole time, the first 50 miles. How hard was that for you, knowing your personality of, competitive, as well as going out too fast when you see people like passing you and knowing, hey, nope, don't chase them? Because there's a lot of runners out there that can't do that. I mean, they're like, nope, I got to go slow, but then they get caught in the moment. And it's like, I can run with these guys or gals.
Especially on that course.
Yeah.
It's so pretty, you get excited.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. That was my game plan, and I knew that I needed to stick to it, and I did. And I think maybe my hip acting up early kind of helped that a little bit, because I think if I had felt really, really good, there would have been more temptation to just let it fly. But, it's a mental game, right? That's a lot of ultra running is, and that's just part of it. And sticking to my game plan was just what I needed to do. So
how early on did how early on did your hip kind of act up, and were you having problems with it heading into the race?
No. So I was feeling pretty good. I mean, my piriformis had kind of been bothering me here and there through the summer, but nothing like the limited training, or it was just kind of there. And I had been getting regular body work with Corey, and he'd really kept it under wraps, and I really felt physically, I felt really good going into the race. I had done a really long taper and felt good. And when I came into Latham, I was like, oh man, my hip's kind of bugging me a little bit, but I didn't think much of it. By the time I got to my crew at mile 36, I was asking for ibuprofen.
Right.
I was hating it. So it was somewhere around mile 25 to 30. I was like, oh man, this is for real, and I'm going to be fighting it.
Do you think those two big downhills really affected it? Because after mile 10, you get that really long downhill.
Yeah, and I kind of let it loose a little bit on that first downhill, even though Debbie told me don't smash your quads on that first downhill.
Yeah, but that's so fun.
It is fun. And
that one's so much fun.
And I felt like I'd been so patient going up that hill. I was like, I gotta let it go a little bit.
Yeah.
So maybe.
And then after Cali, that downhill's really long too. Coming in
36. It is. And it was bothering me there. And I passed quite a few people coming into Cali. But man, the trail was so pretty. It reminded me of like Indian or maybe Malin's a little bit. And I was just coming down that feeling pretty good in my brain. My mind was feeling good, and my body felt good other than my hip. So I kind of ignored that. And when I got to Cali though, I sat down to, I think, change my socks or something. And when I stood up, I was like, oh no, we're in trouble.
So how'd you manage that through the rest of the race? Did you have to do anything different? It obviously limited you a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, I honestly, I caught up to Bryce Warren and Ben Wallace at some point. I don't know. It was mile 40-ish or something. And we stuck together all the way to Tony's pretty much.
Did you?
And
that's some good company
to keep. It was so fun,
Yeah.
So fun. I mean, those miles were like blink of an eye.
Right.
And, everybody complains about that climb up to Tony's.
Oh, yeah.
And, I mean, it's not like we didn't notice that we were going uphill, but it was so fun. Like, we were just
It's just like you're back here in your backyard hanging out. Right?
And so I think that helped keep my mind off a little bit. And so when we came into Tony's, I knew I was picking up Debbie there. And so I just kind of just get into that spot, and I kind of figured the race was going to turn into a race at mile 50 for me anyway. But man, when I got to Tony's, every time I would stop at an aid station, it would just start screaming. It would take me like a whole mile to just like get
it back
going again.
Right.
So by the time I got there, I was fighting. Like, it was full blown pain.
Now, were you ever worried at any part that this is not just a niggle and maybe there's something more there? Or did you just think, well, I'm just going to have to fight through it?
No, I mean, I didn't ever think that. I still don't think it's like an injury. I think it's just flared. I mean, my piriformis was tight. I got some body work done yesterday, and that loosened it up a lot. But I think there's some bursitis going on. I mean, my hip was so swollen for a couple of days. It's like tender to the touch. So it just needs some time. And maybe some cortisone.
Well, I mean, you've had a big year, though. I mean, not just
Absolutely, yeah.
You know, I mean, and it's your first year,
yeah,
right? So it's not like even though you come from a cycling and basketball, ultra running, trail running is a little different.
Absolutely,
how it's on
it
your
is.
body,
Absolutely,
and how often you do it, plus your other things. So.
And I've tried. That was a really big thing for me, is just staying healthy all year, because I had big goals for the entire year, and I wanted to make sure that I fulfilled those. So I spent a lot of time in the gym, because I feel like the stronger I am, I'm more prepared to handle that training. And I've overtrained a lot in the past when I was a cyclist, and that's been a huge thing for me to not get back into that. So I think that was kind of my solution to the problem, was to
not racing a bunch,
not race a ton, and chill out a little bit. Like,
right.
It's okay if you don't get 50 miles every freaking week,
So saying that, what's your training like? Do you go by mileage? Do you say a 50-mile week? Is it more time? Is it just how it comes?
I keep track of mileage, but I am totally winging it. I mean, I don't have a coach. I don't want a coach. That's kind of where I got in trouble with cycling, I think, is just nose to the grindstone all the time. And my theme for the year was kind of just stop and smell the roses, or stop and appreciate, and that's a literal and figurative.
Right.
I mean, when I run with Debbie, she's like a wildflower connoisseur, right? She stops and appreciates that, and
right.
So I
forces you to stop.
Yeah,
a little bit.
exactly. And also like the figurative sense. I mean, I'm a mom, I have a job, I'm a wife. Like, it's okay if I don't get a run in one day. It's okay. Like,
it's not going to make or break that training cycle.
Yeah, and maybe that's good for me sometimes too.
Right.
But yeah, I look at my miles, but like I said, I'm totally winging it, get some vert in some days, maybe do some speed work some days. But most of the time, just go out and run and have fun and enjoy it. Take in the scenery. So
that's a good training. I mean, that's a great training plan and philosophy. Keeps some brain in check, right?
Yeah.
And the body in check.
Yeah.
And I hate running by myself all the time. And so sometimes when you run with a crowd, you don't get 9-minute miles or whatever. That's okay. Like, get out there and...
She looks at us when she says that.
Whatever.
Yeah, we're like 9:10s, so...
Oh. That's awesome. I'm glad we're running 9:10s.
I had to throw that out there. That's with one headphone in. If you throw two in, Joel, you're like 8:50.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
I know.
It goes from 9:10 to like 7.
Yeah. That's a weird transition. It is.
Yeah, it is.
Hey, there's something to be said about running with good music, right?
It is. We just talked about this the other day. There's a total psychological advantage there.
That's right. That's right. I listened to that. That's true, though. I run better with music. There's no doubt about it.
I do sometimes. Depends on the song that's on.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
I just downloaded Tom Petty's Greatest Hits.
Oh, nice.
It's raw. It's just, wow.
That's
so good.
Good climbing music.
It is amazing. Like, it's been around forever, and I've listened, but with everything going on and the unfortunate stuff, I'm like, I'm going to revisit. Now I'm just like addicted to it.
Nice.
Well, if you have such good music that you're wanting to sing, I mean, that slows you down, though.
Oh, I sing. I don't care.
Yeah, I don't sing.
I don't sing loud.
I play drums.
I'm an air drummer, too.
Yeah.
I'm really good, though, when I run. Like, I sing pretty good. I feel like.
I can't verify that. I've never heard all the years that we've run together. I've never heard him sing.
I've never heard you sing
I do it
either.
by myself.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm a closet singer. Or a trail singer by myself. So mile 50. We're back to mile 50.
Yep. Tony's
Grove, which is just, like you said, kind of the race starts. And that's pretty much how it works in 100 miles. Mile 50, mile 60 is when they say that's kind of where the race starts. If you can get there in one piece. Yeah, starts or ends. If you can get there in one piece feeling good, then you can kind of take it out. Because at the Bear, the hard part of the course is over.
Right.
Not really. Come on. There's crappy climb out of Franklin. There's terrible.
There's a couple, but that first part is it's generally it's harder. It's generally hotter.
Yeah.
It's not as pretty as the back half, even though it's still pretty.
It's still pretty.
Yeah. It's just, but generally that's what people think. Okay, that the hardest part of the course is out of the way. You still have a couple climbs. You're in a 100-mile race, but the hardest part is kind of out of the way.
Yeah. Well, for me, the night was kind of unknown, right? I've never raced through the night. I've paced through the night, but that's a different ball game. So I really wanted to get as many miles under my belt while it was daylight, because I knew that the night might play tricks with me. So, yeah, I ran with Debbie for a little bit out of Tony's, and then when we got to Franklin, I actually swapped, and Steve jumped on.
Right. Did you get to Franklin in the daylight?
We had just barely turned on our headlamps, like
Okay.
just barely. And then
And that's about 61, 62.
yeah,
right
61 or something like that. And Steve was a great pacer. He and I kind of have the same, I think, type A personality a little bit. He's a planner. And he just was on it from like the get-go. I was hoping that he would like sit back with me and chat me up a little bit. He was like
All
out
business.
ahead of me, like turning around, like, "Come on, you gonna run here? You gonna run here?" And I'm just thinking, I should be running here. He's right. Okay. So the night miles went pretty good with him. He
Good.
was a good night pacer, and chatted when it was a good time to chat, and he pushed me. There's no doubt about it, and that's exactly what I wanted him to do. I told him it was okay if he made me cry, which, for the record, I did not. But
We'll verify that with our sources.
go ahead. You can verify all you want.
I believe it.
But most of the time, those guys probably just think I complained the whole time because I felt like I was complaining about my hip the whole time. The downhills were just awful. Uphill and flat, I could maybe get it going a little bit and moving, but when we got to the downhill,
Just
and
slow.
I was,
Were you able
just-
to run still, or are you walking mostly?
No, I felt like I was running,
So it was a shuffle.
but yeah, it was slow. It
Okay.
was real slow.
So was that difficult? Because a lot of, it's like downhill. Hey, I should be moving so I can quote unquote make up
Absolutely,
time.
it was.
Right.
So was it hard mentally going,
Absolutely,
oh
it
my
was.
gosh.
Yeah, I struggled from Beaver Lodge to what's the aid station at, like 85-ish or something.
The rivers at 85, or the campgrounds at 85.
Yeah, to the campground.
Yeah.
That was probably my worst part of the whole race.
It's 10 miles there.
That's a hard spot
It
right
is.
there because it's cold.
Cold and it's
Yeah.
like early morning.
Yeah, I struggled. My
Still
hip
middle
was
of the night for
hating
her.
it,
Yeah.
and yeah, it was bad right there. So I was really happy to see my crew at that 80-mile 85 right there, and just think, okay, that's the next time I see them, we'll be at the finish.
Right.
And once I left Beaver, I knew in my head, like, okay, I'm going to finish this.
Yeah,
There's no
you got
doubt
this.
about that. But how long is this last 25 miles going to take?
Right.
Because I'm hating it. So, and I was a little bit bummed about that because I want those last 25 miles. My goal was to just like full throttle, just get after it. And I just couldn't do that physically. So
Were you resound in your mind, though, knowing that, saying, hey, it's okay, like I know where I'm at right now, let's just get it done the best I can?
it's
or
really hard for me to do that, especially when you're sitting in like second place.
wouldn't know.
So
No.
it was really hard for me to do that because let's be honest, I didn't even though Joel like put it out there early season, I didn't feel like I was going
Like
to
last
win
year.
this race. But when you find yourself in that position, then you're like, oh shit, maybe I
Got a chance.
can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then when you like, okay, let's get it moving and let's get going, and your hips just screaming at you, it's just like, damn it.
Right.
So, but it's okay. I'm super happy with this race. So,
Well, I can understand, like, what you're talking about, like being happy with it because it's amazing, but in the back of your mind's like that little injury thing you
Yeah.
have going, kind of what you're capable. Did you have a time goal going into the race, or did you just kind of want to go how you
I
felt?
think under 26 was a reasonable goal for me, and I mean I still got that. So that's why I can't be disappointed, I think. And to be honest, the fact that I fought that hip for so long was also kind of a little bit of an achievement for me.
Mm-hmm.
Because I feel like a lot of people would maybe just say it's not
They're gonna
worth
pull
it.
it for the day.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and maybe I should have. I mean, I'm still limping around here like I'm 85, but
Whatever.
I feel like I am.
You feel like you are, but we just saw you walk around. You look like you're fine.
Well, the 95% of my body feels completely normal and fine.
Right.
It's just that hip. So,
Oh, it's only 5%.
but yeah, I mean, Ben at one point of the race, maybe around Franklin or something just looked at me, and because he kept asking me, he and Bryce kept asking me, how's that hip? How's that
Right.
hip? And Ben looked at me and he's like, hey, just be smart and live to run another day. Like,
Right.
And I that resounded with me, just don't be stupid. If you can finish this and kind of hobble it in and not make sure that you can enjoy some of the fall running, and you're not going to miss ski season because you're being stupid.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and like you said, I mean, it's about knowing your own body too, right?
Yeah.
Because it's your first 100 miler. So, I mean, it's not like you always know what an injury is, but sometimes like, I've been injured before. And, as you go throughout the race, if it's not getting progressively like to where you can't walk or move, then it's like, okay, maybe it's just this.
Yeah. And I never got to that point where I was legitimately worried that there was
Like
something
did it ever change your
irreparable.
gait?
Oh, yeah. Big time.
Okay.
But just because it hurt if I ran normal. I mean, and there were a few times, like my mom, who's an athletic trainer and has worked with a lot of track athletes and stuff, when I came into the finish, the look that she gave me, I was like, I know it's bad. She's like, I thought you were going to fall down. So obviously I was not running normally. And I actually did fall a couple of times on those last 2 miles, where it's just kind of technical and nasty. And there were a few times I fell, and I was just like, okay, pick yourself up, just keep moving.
Well, I didn't see you cross the finish line, but I was there for lots of hours, like 10 hours probably. And no one looked good coming across.
That's a good point. Nobody really does look like
I
fantastic.
felt bad for the people that were behind us because fortunately we finished before the rain. But some of those people that had been out there, the 30+ hour finishers, they all got rained on, right?
Yeah, and I don't know how bad it got, like the downpour, but it was enough to make that downhill slip.
Yeah, and just cold too. I mean, you're at the end and you're just
want to be done.
Your body's done, and and you're just like, really, the rain now? So
I was just under a canopy drinking beer. I was fine.
I'm sure you were.
I wasn't getting wet or sore, or I almost fell once.
Did you?
Yeah, but that was another story. So you kind of go back to the big, kind of one of the big things we like to talk about too when it comes to these races, and you talked about a little bit, is throughout the year kind of dialing your nutrition in, right? It's your first year doing this. You've come from a different background, so you have some ideas behind it. You have your ideas behind what works for you. What was your nutrition plan, and how did it play out for this race? Like, what did you take with you, and what was your idea of doing
so I'm a EFS girl, first endurance, have been ever since I was a cyclist. It works the best for my system. I have a lot of belly issues when I use a lot of different gels and stuff. And the EFS has pretty good electrolyte content.
Are you talking about liquid shot?
So that and their just electrolyte drink.
Okay.
But the shots, absolutely. The shots, I think, are the consistency of them is easy to get down, and there's one bottle of those that has 400 calories.
Yeah.
So you can pack a lot of calories in just a really small, lightweight bottle, basically.
Right.
So I had a little bit of water in my bladder in my pack, and then I carried 2 of those Solomon soft water bottles full of EFS, and then some EFS shots, and then I had just like some waffles and
it's like Stroop waffles.
Yeah,
or those
Stroop
type of
waffles. I had some of those.
Not Belgian. Or
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
I wish. No, just the honey stinger waffles. I use those Pro Bar chews a little bit. And then at the aid stations, I'm all about the salt.
Okay.
So I
we hit
go
chips,
for the chips and
potatoes.
Did you hit the quesadillas
I
at
was going to say,
Franklin?
what about the quesadillas?
By the time I was there, I couldn't do it.
No?
You should have just stuck one in your vest.
I took one of the
stuff one in the pie hole. That's what you should have done because they're good.
I know. I didn't do it though.
That's the best time to do it because you
oddly-
got that nice climb that you can let settle
That's why I
in your
keep
belly.
going back
Yeah.
to the Bear, is for their
Really?
quesadillas.
Yeah.
I
I know.
haven't
Yeah,
even
I
run
heard
it.
you guys mentioning those on the last show too, and I was like,
They were so cheesy this year.
really?
Oh my gosh,
Like,
so
you know,
good.
you get quesadillas and sometimes it's just like
It just-
flat on
but yeah,
flat.
yeah.
You're a lactard,
I
right?
am a lactard.
Yeah, you
Oh.
can't do that.
Yeah.
All right, we'll cut you
I can
some.
handle a little bit of like hard cheese, so I probably could have done the quesadillas, but
but why risk it?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I'm like, why not risk it?
I think at that point, you and I wouldn't know it's like sitting in second place, right? So,
Yeah,
I mean, we
like
can't
third,
say that.
fourth.
Right?
Yeah, you can do third
we know
and
what it's
fourth.
like in third, right? Yeah.
Second, I mean, if I was second, I'd probably pass. Fourth, I'm putting salsa on my quesadilla, right?
That
Fifth,
sounds
you get
good
the sour
now.
cream.
Some
Oh,
Cholula.
geez. Yeah,
That's
no. If
right.
I'd have gone that
The
far, I'd
Charles.
have been done, sitting on the side of the trail.
So do you mix up the flavors? Because I like the EFS stuff as well.
Yeah.
Do you mix up? Do you have
Yeah.
like the different liquid shots, or do you just stick to your own?
The liquid shots, I like vanilla the best, but I do have to mix it up a little bit. So I'll just get whatever's available. And then as far as the electrolyte drink, I definitely have to mix it up. I just buy a little of every flavor. And I use that all through the summer training and stuff too. So you just buy those and use them all summer.
Have you ever tried a slurry with those that Luke Nilsson made popular years ago?
No.
Those are pretty good.
So I did it the best I've ever done at a race, and now I'm thinking about it like, why don't I do this anymore? But at Wasatch, I made it a slurry, and I used vanilla liquid shot with the orange electrolyte drink, and you add water, and so it's a condensed version. Tastes like a orange dreamy.
Wow.
And you get it all. And
Yeah.
you just use water.
That sounds fabulous.
So good. Yeah. Anyway.
You can take some ice,
Oh yeah.
put it in there, right?
Shake it up.
like a
Yeah.
slushy.
Easy.
Yum.
Easy. So you do mix up the flavors. Then you just kind of go off what you see at aid stations too.
I do, yeah, but I'm always about the salt or the pickles or the
Okay.
potatoes. Like that's my. I'm always. I don't carry much salty foods with me. I have a problem swallowing since my radiation, and so when I'm running and eating, it's sometimes difficult. So that's why the shots work the best for me. I have to be walking to be able to get like one of the honey stinger waffles down or the chews down, but I can be really still pushing hard and get those EFS shots down.
Did you have any belly issues or nausea? or
No,
anything?
fortunately, my belly was actually really solid the whole race, so I was really lucky there.
That is awesome because that's pretty rare.
Yeah.
Anyway.
And I struggled with that big time at Vaquero, but I think honestly the my belly issues come when I don't eat, and then I realize, oh crap, I haven't eaten for a long time, and then I try and stuff a bunch of calories down me, and then I'm done.
Well, I mean, Vaquero was hot.
It was hot.
And
It was
Bear
hot.
was not.
Yeah,
right?
Vaquero was
Vaquero, we
hot.
might have done a little drinking the night before too.
I was pretty conservative. I think
Were
I only
you?
had one beer.
Jim had like
Jim was like
hammered.
He was hungover when he woke
straight
up for the race.
hungover for the first 15 miles.
Because I was running with him, he goes, man, I have such a bad headache.
Yeah.
No.
And I'm like, well, how many did you have? He goes, I think like 4 or 5. I'm
He
like,
easily
well,
had 4 or 5.
And these are like Wyoming,
Yeah.
like
Yeah, they were
Melvins
like
and
legit, like
yeah.
High Point beer.
Yeah, that was funny. But yeah, I mean, that makes a difference, though, the heat and 'cause
Absolutely.
the weather at the Bear, I was envious of that whole day.
That's the
and
best
night.
weather they've had in years.
That's
Yeah.
like for any race ever, that would be my ideal
It
race
was perfect.
weather.
It was so perfect. Yeah, that definitely played into it. I said that too at the end. I said I don't think I had any cramping issues or belly issues because the weather was basically perfect. So
When you talk about salt, do you do salt tabs at all?
I do. I didn't do too many at the Bear though, because I was really drinking the EFS pretty well. And one thing I've learned this year is those Solomon soft bottles, I drink a ton more. If I use those,
ya?
a ton more. If I just use like a regular handheld, I don't know if it's because I can't tell how much I've drank or I don't know what it is, but those Solomon ones, I just give it a big old squeeze, and I think I just get way more.
Okay.
And so I'm pretty set on those water bottles.
So do you put them, when you say handheld, do you have the little hand thing that comes so they're stuck to your hand, or you just hold
No,
them?
I'm
in
carrying
your
those
pocket?
in my
In your
in my
pocket.
Solomon
Okay.
pack.
Right.
And I like if I just run the trail here, I'm just gonna go a few miles. I still carry a handheld, but for a race situation where I really need a lot of fluid, I'm gonna carry a pack with the Solomon soft bottles because they just work well for me.
And then, so overall with your Bear race, I mean, you had a great crew, great pacers. I mean, you feel like if you went back now, besides the hip, what would you look at and say, oh, maybe next time I would tweak this or tweak that? Or do you think that was probably as good as it gets other than
Honestly, I think, that's my one and only 100, so I don't have a lot to compare to.
Now, wait a minute. You say that it's your one and only, but I think in a
So
couple
far.
years,
It's your only one to date.
I think you'll pop one off again.
Everybody keeps telling me that. I said I was going to be one and done before I even signed up, so we'll see.
Doesn't matter what you say.
But it might eat
that.
at you a little bit in a couple of years.
It might.
You might.
It might.
Dang, I can go back and run that faster.
Like
you might step back
this
to
year's going to hit.
Yeah, exactly. It's Thanksgiving this year. You'll be like, I think I can go back to the bear and run
People
that
are going to be
faster.
putting on Facebook.
I can go sub 24.
It's going to be like, Bear's almost sold out. And you're going to be like, oh, man.
that can happen in a couple weeks.
Yeah.
I know. Jeez. No,
all the
I
cool
don't have,
kids. By the way, all the cool kids have already signed up.
I know. Well, I'll be there cheering everybody on, drinking that beer.
With that sprinter.
Good.
Within
the
my
sprinter.
sprinter.
That's
yes.
right.
With some sweet logos.
That's right. But yeah, I don't have much to compare it to, but I feel like the preparation was
spot on.
Was there for me. I mean, spent a lot of time, like we mentioned, and there wasn't much else to
really change.
Yeah, and maybe that I could, as my experience goes on and I run more races and learn more, then maybe I would change that answer at some point down the road. But for where I am right now, I think that there wasn't much else that I could have done differently.
Did you change your shoes much, socks much?
I wore the same shoes the whole 100.
Okay.
But I changed my socks quite a bit. That was one thing I learned at Jim's race at Antelope Island this spring is don't ignore your feet.
Right.
Because that was my huge downfall there is I ignored my feet and I got giant blisters, which Christy Joe took care of.
That was
Antelope
Island 50, huh?
Yeah, and I was hating it by the end of that because I had a huge blister on my arch. And so I paid pretty close attention.
Okay.
Used a lot of squeaky cheeks in between my toes. And I did get a blister at, I don't know, maybe, I think Tony's is when I had to put something on it, but it took care of it and it didn't bother me. Like my feet were really not an issue.
What kind of socks do you wear?
Of course you would ask me that. No,
It's
I can't think of the brand.
Beliga, Drymax. Not the toe socks.
No.
Smart Wool.
The toe socks, I
Darn
tried
tough.
those.
They're weird.
They
I can't
are
wear
weird.
them
I
either.
can't do it.
In Gingies, I can't do them.
Yeah.
Beligas.
Features.
Okay, I wear features too a lot.
I love them. The cushy ones, the
Yeah.
Max cushion.
Yeah, those are nice.
I love them.
I'm getting into the Drymax crew now, though.
Are you?
Yeah, for
I
sure.
got a couple of those. They're nice.
Yeah, I'm getting into
And
those.
I got some Stance socks I really like.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm getting into
Yeah,
the
socks
crew.
are you can't like go cheap with the socks.
No.
You gotta do.
That's the one thing you got to invest every year.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you'll wear them out if you run enough in them, or
Mhm.
you don't shave your toenails.
That's
Yes,
gross.
this is
That's
true.
like my big pet peeve.
It's like Dumb and Dumber, man.
Yeah.
Going into get a pedicure.
Yo.
I've never been so obsessed with my toenails in my entire life.
Really?
I'm fairly certain. Yeah.
And they're doing good.
Yeah. I lost one after Jim's race this spring at Antelope Island, and I'll never allow that to happen again.
Right.
So yeah, I'm like constantly making sure they're okay.
Right. So you've run the gamut of distances, from short all the way up to 100 milers. So what's your favorite distance now?
I think 50 mile.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is it because you're done in a day?
I think it's still hard, but you're not broken afterwards. And it's still a little bit of a mental game. I think 50K you can still kind of just limp through it and be okay, with just a little bit of training. But I think if you want to run 50 well and fast, then you still need to be there mentally and prepare. And so it's just hard enough.
I know it's early, but you always think ahead.
Oh yeah.
You have to.
I already.
What's
Sherry
kind of
knows.
on the what's on the radar then? What's next, and what do you have planned coming up?
Yeah. So on my radar first is ski season. I can't wait. I'm counting down the days.
Right.
I enjoy that.
Well, get the hip healthy first.
Yeah.
Right. Get that under control.
I'm sure I'll run something at Antelope again. Maybe the 50K to start out.
In March?
Yeah.
Okay.
And don't tell my husband, but if my hip's okay, I'm probably going to run the Antelope Island in November. We'll see.
He probably doesn't listen to this show.
He's not a runner. He's listening to this show.
But in the spring, in March, I think I'll run 50K out there. And then I've heard a little bit about the Mount Hood 50.
Ooh, yeah.
It's fat.
It's
Wow.
flat?
It's flat and fast,
Okay.
which is I like
That's in
races that I can
July,
run a
right?
lot.
Is that
Yeah, it's a
July?
lottery though.
Oh.
And it'd be a really fun road trip in the Sprinter.
Ooh.
So
Can't wait. We're looking forward to that.
Mhm.
yeah, so maybe, but the problem is it's over our anniversary, so that's not really a great anniversary
Yes, it is.
trip
Oh,
for
yeah.
Brandon.
Yeah,
I'm
it is.
trying
There's
to
a lot of
convince
breweries
him.
in
That's what
Portland.
I told him.
Exactly.
Breweries and mountain biking.
Yeah.
Right?
Kel's Pub, hit that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that
We'll take care of him. Don't worry.
that maybe, and I'm gonna go back to Vaquero.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
just too fun to not go back.
That's the race, man.
It is.
It truly is.
Right.
Start, finish, RD.
I know,
Mhm.
right?
Everything.
I need to find something in April or May, so I'm not really sure
We
what I'm
know
gonna
race
do
in May.
there.
Yeah.
Mhm.
There's a Gib Wallace race
Yeah.
coming up.
Well, of
It's
course,
gonna be lottery
that's a
this
given.
year.
It'll be a lottery this year.
Dang. If you've won it in the past, do you get any like special?
It's 2018. If you win in 2018, you do.
What?
We don't grandfather in for this race.
Wow. Okay.
That $100 we gave you last year, that's you got to give that back. That's how you get in.
Oh, okay.
That's your race entry. And so, what other plans do you think, or is there other maybe lists?
Well, otherwise on the maybe, I looked at that Sinks Canyon. That one maybe.
That's a good one.
I don't know. I have a list.
Because you're type A.
Yeah.
You're like me.
well,
I'll show you my spreadsheet after the show. It's 4 pages long.
I'm not a spreadsheeter, but
Okay.
I'm a list maker for sure.
I'm both.
The San Juan Solstice.
Oh, that's a good one.
But that's a lottery too.
It
And
is.
the problem is that's late June and Mount Hood is like
Second week,
mid-July.
yeah.
And I don't think that I can finagle that. So
Those are two really long trips.
yeah. And I have a job.
Oh,
So-
yeah.
Keeps getting in the way.
Those things. That's a
So
nasty
I'm going to have to
three-letter.
put the lotteries are like a week apart. So I'm going to put in
I'll put it for both.
Yeah,
see
and
what
see what
happens.
happens.
Because there's a couple in Portland I'm looking at that I was going to send like that social media message to see. Because there's the Tillamook Burn in
Saw
Portland.
that. That looks
And there's
amazing.
also the, gosh dang it, now I can't remember the name of it, Tillamook Burn, and there's another one up in Portland, because I lived there for a while, and
Oh,
it's
yeah.
just beautiful up there.
I know. I want to run that Pacific Crest Trail, and there's a lot of places I just want to go run up there.
Yeah.
right.
One of my very best friends is from the Spokane area,
Oh, yeah.
and I want to go check out some of the Bellingham trails and stuff
Oh,
up there. Her
those
brother
look
lives up
amazing.
there, and
Those
Those
do.
Issaquah Alps.
Yeah.
Issaquah,
Issaquah
yeah.
I
Alps.
want to
Jeff
just,
Hart keeps posting photos up there.
Really?
I know.
From the Bellingham
I don't
area.
even need a race. I just want to like go up there and
That'd be
check
fun.
it out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'd love to do that. Get in the sound like Orcas Island, even though we have races
Mhm.
there. That's
Mm.
pretty looking out there.
It is.
Yeah.
Just different, from
Mhm,
the green, the ferns, and the type. So that's why I want to get out to
Yeah.
Oregon for sure. There's the Oregon Coast 50 in October.
Mm-hmm.
Not this year, but maybe the next year. What else you got?
I don't know what else race wise. I didn't get to do the Tetons this year. I really wanted to do that.
We'll do that
that's
next
been
year,
on
for
my
sure.
list. My parents, my dad and stepmom live up there, and I mean that's one of my favorite places in the whole world.
Yeah.
So I'd like to do that. So that's really all that I have on the list so far.
So you're kind of sticking to that 50K, 50 mile
Yeah,
distance?
I think
you
so. Yeah, I don't think I'll run No, let's rewind. I will not run 100 next year.
Oh, because you got your Hard
Wow.
Rock qualifier.
Yeah.
That's good for 2 years.
Steve reminded me of that at 2 a.m.
Yeah, that's a good time to
as
remind
we
you.
were.
Make you throw up
Yeah,
in your
he's
mouth a
like,
little
so
bit.
you know
Yeah.
this is a Hard Rock qualifier, right? And I was like, just shut up right
Yeah.
now.
And you know what goes good in Silverton or Sprinter vans, so.
That's right.
Oh
I mean,
yeah.
you're-
Well,
you're kinda-
we'll be by there if I get into San Juan.
be
Solstice.
by there.
Near it.
But I'm
Yeah.
not. I have no desire to do Hard Rock. Like none.
Okay, next show, episode 150, we'll find out how you
Right.
really feel when you're like, yeah, so I'm going down to scout the course. I'm doing soft rock,
Yeah.
and
No.
I've been doing lunges.
Too much climbing.
A lot
for
of
there.
lunges.
I like to run a little bit.
You can run.
Like not
Downhill.
at
Yeah.
all.
There's like the leave town, you come into the finish line. There's some running
Yeah,
involved.
that mile right before you get to the finish line on the pavement.
Yeah, and you have to run that because everybody's cheering and watching you.
That's true. Good point.
But yeah, I mean, it sounds like you have a pretty good grasp of what you'd like to do. I mean, that always changes,
Yeah.
because there's so many races. I keep finding them, right? It's like, oh,
Right.
that looks good. That would, then I can't do that.
You got to
And then-
prioritize them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we just been prioritizing because I still want to do the Ute. That's been stuck in I can't shake it. And there's only
Yeah.
like 12 spots left.
Uh-oh.
And I probably won't do it.
Yeah, you better shake some change to
I
get
know.
in there.
I had to go
deep
through
for the bear.
couches, turn some tricks yesterday just to get put back into the bear.
Yeah.
Because that was my A for I don't care what happens. So I'm like,
Right.
okay, because that's going to fill. It's like a 20. So I had to get in there. I think
Yeah.
the cap's 42 next year.
The 40.
It's a really small because they.
It's really elite and select.
Yeah, it really
Right?
is. And they're really going to, put like some chicken in the quesadillas next year.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Legit.
Some green chilies.
Oh,
Ooh,
Yeah, they're going
Wait
to
a
mix
minute.
it
I
up.
had a bad experience with that once already. I'm not doing that again.
But yeah, I mean, it makes it hard. I mean, we talk about this all the time. Is there's so many races,
Yeah.
plus you have your life, and you got
Right.
anniversaries and travel and families, and of course money and
Yeah, and I
running.
I
word.
really only want to do like a handful of races every year.
That's at least
What's
5.
a handful?
Yeah,
I mean,
4 or
if-
5, literally 4
Yeah?
or 5.
Yeah,
like
that's a hand.
if I'm constantly racing,
You
then
break down.
and
It's no fun.
I really want to teach my daughter to love the outdoors, and if I'm
Mhm.
just racing all the time, when do I have time to do that? Like
Right.
I really want her to love camping like my husband and I do, and love to learn to ride a bike and that kind of stuff. I mean, I feel like that's a big reason why I love trail running, is because I've always spent time in the outdoors. My parents are still really big into the outdoors, and I want to pass that on to Quinn big time. And so, I mean, running is big for me, and I need to go for runs just for my mental sanity. But I just want to make sure that it's not overtaking the important things in my life.
Well, and coming from the cycling background, just the difference between the two, like running is simple, right? The
Yes.
simplicity of just putting a pair of shoes on. I know there's all
Absolutely.
these other things, but like from a cycling background, there's just a little bit more you got to do.
Yeah.
But far as an activity goes and the simplicity of it, I think you can make it as simple as you want, whether
Yeah.
you want to wear a watch, whether you want to do
Absolutely.
a time, or you can just go out and hit the trail and see what happens too.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of, the beauty of, even though we've got camping trips planned or whatever, we camp a lot in the Uintas, like throw your shoes in and there's somewhere to run.
Yeah.
Right.
And you're still, even if it's 5 miles or, at least you get a little bit of a run in, you enjoy the outdoors that way, but then you're still, spending time with your family. So
I think that's great.
Yeah.
I mean, you did awesome. We were touting you all year, and we're super pumped for
thanks.
we're super pumped for your race too. I mean, that's a crazy good time.
Yeah, it is.
First year in the racing trail side, and I mean, it's a pretty impressive resume. Like I
Thanks.
said, our people reach out to your people.
Yeah, for the,
see what we
for
see,
the sprinter wrap.
see what we can work
Perfect.
out. I mean, it looks like your podium spots are probably lining up with kind of our
Our ambassadorship model.
Yeah, our ambassadorship model. We're coming out with one. We've got like the Apostles of Vert.
Yeah.
We've got Titans of
No, the Huntsman's my new one.
the Huntsman.
Yeah,
I like
the
that. 'Cause that's
Huntsman.
different. Because
Yeah.
like groups have ambassadors, right?
yeah,
Right.
totally.
We don't like. I mean, nothing against them, but it's like used a lot. So
Oh,
it's
no,
like,
it's totally against them.
it's
to be
like,
honest.
it's like this is our ambassador program.
Yeah.
We like that idea, but it's like no, we want it to be cool.
Yeah.
So we've come up with like Titans of Vert, Apostles of Vert. And
Yeah.
now I like this Huntsman.
The
thing.
Huntsman. Yeah.
Did you watch a show the other day?
No.
Oh, okay.
I've been working on it for
You have?
a couple weeks, maybe even a month now.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah.
Because that'd be super cool.
Mm-hmm.
And so yeah, we'll our people might talk.
Okay, that'd be great.
We have some cool kits and different things, right?
Sure.
Some permanent tattoos you have to get. It's
Oh,
not temporary.
jeez.
We got a tattoo guy.
This is legit.
Oh, once you're in,
I'm done with the tattoos.
Once
Come
you're-
on now.
yeah, you
No,
can
I'm
you
done.
can get one more.
No, I don't want it. No.
Right in the back of your neck.
No.
Oh boy.
That'd be a
Right
good
on
one.
the tip.
Yeah. Oh boy. So yeah, thanks for joining us. A whole 74 shows later.
Thank you.
To see where you came from is just still amazing. And we encourage everybody. We'll have a link, but we encourage everybody to go back and listen to episode 25. It's just if you have, listen to it again.
Yeah.
It's a great show. Kelsy, thanks for taking the time to let us sit down at this secret hideout.
Yeah.
But we're not going to tell anybody where we're at.
Nope.
And then as soon as we're done here, we'll just go hit the fridge and head out. All right. Thanks, Kelsy.
Thanks.
Thank you for listening to the TrailManners podcast. We'd like to thank Kelsy Bingham for taking the time to join us once again. We also want to encourage everybody to head on over and follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at TrailManners, or swing by the website at trailmanners.com. there, you can check out our store page, and there are still a few of the limited edition logo beanies available for this year. Or you can hit us up on the contact page. Let us know what you want to see, who you want to hear, or if you would like to be on the show. Until next time, this is Eric Manning with Joe Hatch reminding you, you don't get what you wish for, you get what you work for. Now go get it.